hello dear students. Today we are going to discuss the questions of the different exercises of chapter number 1, that is real numbers. So starting with the very first exercise 1.1, the question number 1, it is given that use Euclid's division algorithm to find the SCF of 135 and 225, and second part is, so first we'll solve the first part. So we have the question 135 and 225. So now since 225 is greater than 135, so we apply the division lemma to 225 and 135 to obtain 225 is equals to 135 into 1 plus 90. Now since 90 is a remainder which is not equals to 0, so further we have to divide this 135 by 90. So we have 135 is equals to 90 into 1 plus 45. Now 45 is the remainder, not 0 again. So again we'll write 90 is equals to 2 into 45. Now we can see here that 0 is the remainder. So 0 is the remainder, it means, so we can easily say that 45 is the SCF of the given numbers 135 and 225. Likewise, in the second part, 196 and 38220. Now since 38220 is greater than 196, so if we divide this 38220 by 196, so we are getting 38220 is equals to 196 into 195 plus 0. Now we can see here the remainder is 0, it means it is completely divisible. So 196 is the SCF of 196 and 38220. If you move towards the third part, it is given 867 and 255. Now since 867 is greater than 255, so on applying the division lemma, we'll get here 867 is equal to 225 into 3 plus 102. Now again 102 is the remainder, it's not 0, so again we'll write 255 is equal to 102 into 2 plus 51. Again 51 is the remainder which is not equals to 0, so we'll again divide 102 by 51 into 2 plus 0. Now we can see here the 0 is the remainder, so therefore it means 51 is the SCF of 867 and 255. Now question number 2 is, now show that all this, so this is not in the now syllabus, it is reduced syllabus, so we are skipping this question. Then we move towards the question number 3. So if we see the question number 3, so it is given an army contingent 616 members is to be marched behind an army band of 32 members in a parade. The two groups are to march in the same number of columns. What is the maximum number of the columns in which they can march? So we can see here SCF, we have to find SCF of 616 and 32. So as we know that 616 can be written as 32 into 19 plus 8, like we have done the Euclid's algorithm way, the same way. So we have 32 is equals to 8 into 4 is equals to 0. We can see here that 8 is the SCF, so it means they can march in 8 columns each. Okay, then again question number 4, this is not in the syllabus now, so we have to skip this. Then question number 5 also. Okay, now it means now we reach to the exercise 1.2, because the things which are not in the syllabus we are not going to discuss that. So now in the question number 1, what we can see here, express each number as a product of its prime factors, So we can see here it is given that 140, so we can write 140 is equals to 2 into 2 into 5 into 7, so that is 2 into 2 raised to the power 2 into 5 into 7, so these are prime factors. And 156 can be written as 2 into 2 into 3 into 13, that is 2 raised to the power 2 into 3 into 13. So likewise we can solve this third one. 3825 is equals to 3 into 3 into 5 into 5 into 17, which is 3 square into 5 square into 17. Then we have 5005, which can be written as 5 into 7 into 11 into 13. Then 7429, 17 into 19 into 23. So all are written as a product of the prime numbers. So these are called prime factors. Question number 2 is find the SCF and the LCM of the following pair of integers, verifying that LCM into SCF is equals to the product of two numbers. Okay, so 26 and 91. First part is 26 and 91. So we can see here 26 can be written as 2 into 13, 91 can be written as 7 to 13. So common term is here 13. 13 is the SCF. LCM is 2 into 7 to 13, that is 192. Now we'll check product of two numbers. 26 into 91, that is 2366. SCF into LCM 13 into 182, that is 2366. So we can see here that both the parts we have the same answer, so it means hence verified, that is a product of two numbers is equals to product of the SCF and LCM. Then we have a number 510 into 92, so this can be written as 510 is equals to 2 into 3 into 5 into 17. 92 can be written as 2 into 2 into 23. So here SCF is 2 because 2 is common. Then LCM is 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 into 17, 32, that is 23460. So we can see the product of two numbers is, that is 510 into 92 is 46920, and the product of HCF and LCM is 2 into 23460, that is again 46920. So hence it is proved that product of two numbers is equal to HCF into LCM. Then the third part is 336 and 52. So we have 336 can be written as 2 into raised to power 4 into 3 into 7. Then 54 can be written as 2 into 3 into 3 into 3, that is 2 into 3 raised to power 3. So HCF is 2 into 3, which is 6. LCM is 2 raised to power 4 into 3 raised to power 3 into 7, that is 3024. Now product of two numbers, so we can see here 336 into 54 is 18144. HCF into LCM is 6 into 3024, that is 18144. So we have product two numbers is equals to HCF into LCM. Now looking at the question number 3, find the LCM and the HCF of the following integers by applying the prime factorization method. Okay, so as we know, the prime factorization means here, look here. So we have here 12, 15 and 21. So 12 can be written as 2 raised to power 2 into 3. 15 means 3 into 5 and 21 is 3 into 7. So HCF is 3 because 3 is common in all, and LCM is 2 raised to power 2 into 3 into 5 into 7, that is 420. Then we have the next part, 17, 23 and 29 are the numbers. So 17 means 1 into 17, 23 means 1 into 23, 29 means 1 into 29. So HCF is 1. LCM is 17 into 23 into 29, that is 11339. Then we have third part, 8, 9 and 25. So 8 is 2 into 2 into 2, that is 2 raised to power 3. Then 9 can be written as 3 into 3, 3 raised to power 2. And 25 can be written as 5 into 5, 5 raised to power 2. So here the HCF is 1, and LCM is 2 raised to power 3 into 3 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 2, that is 1800 is the answer. Then we have the question number 4. In the question number 4, it is given that HCF of 306 and 657 is 9, LCM 306, 657. So we have to find the LCM. So as we know that HCF into LCM is equals to product of two numbers. So LCM is product of two numbers over HCF, that is 306 into 657 over 9, that is 22338. So LCM is 22338. Then we have the question number 5. Check whether 6 raised to power n can be ANDed with the digit 0 for any natural number. So if you look at this, so if any number ends with the digit 0, it should be divisible by 10, or in other words, it also divisible by 2 and 5 as 10, that is 2 into 5. So we can see here the factors of 6 are 2 into 3. So 6 raised to power n can be written as 2 into 3 whole raised to power n. So it can be observed that 5 is not only the prime factorization of 6 raised to power n. Hence for any value of n, 6 raised to power n will not be divisible by 5. So therefore 6 raised to power n cannot be ANDed with the digit 0 for any natural number n. Now in the question number 6, it is given, explain why 7 into 11 into 13 plus 13 and 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 plus 5 are composite numbers. So as we all know, the composite number means the numbers having more than 2 factors. So if we see here, we can write here 7 into 11 into 13. So 13 is common here. Then 7 into 11 plus 1 is remaining term. So which gives us 13 into 78. That is 13 into 13 into 6. We have 3 factors here. Likewise here, if we see this next part, so 5 is common here. And within the bracket we have 7 into 6 into 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 plus 1, which is equals to 5 into 108 plus 1, that is 109. So 5 into 109. So 1009 cannot be factorized. Therefore the given expression hence factor, hence it is a composite numbers. Okay, so therefore given expression has 5 and 1009 as its factor, hence is a composite numbers. As we can see here, it's 1 is itself a factor. So now now we have the question number 7. If we see in the question number 7, it is given that there is a circular path around in a sports field. Sonia takes 18 minutes to drive one round of the field, while Ravi takes 12 minutes for the same. Suppose they both start at the same point at the same time and go in the same direction. So after how many minutes they will meet again in the same point? So as you can see here, in this we need to find the LCM. So LCM of 18, sorry, factors of 18 are 2 into 3 into 3, and of 12 are 2 into 2 into 3. So if we see here, the LCM of 12 and 18 are 2 into 2 into 3 into 3, that is 36. So therefore they meet after 36 minutes. Now if we see the exercise 1.3, so in this we have to prove that first question is root 5 is an irrational number. So this is basically based on the contradiction. So that is like let root 5 is an irrational number. So instead of irrational, we take root 5 is a rational number. So therefore we can find two integers a and b such that root 5 is equals to a upon b. So let a and b have the common factors other than 1. Then we can divide them by the common factor and assume that a and b are co-primes. So we can write a is equals to root 5b, then a square is equals to 5b square. Now therefore a square is divisible by 5. It can set that a is divisible by 5. So let a is equals to 5k. So where k is an integer, now we can write 5k whole square is equals to 5b square. So we have 5k square is equals to b square. So it means that b square is divisible by 5. So hence b is also divisible by 5. So this implies that a and b have 5 as a common factor. So this contradicts the fact that a and b are co-prime. So therefore root 5 cannot be expressed as p upon q, or it can be said that root 5 is irrational number. So then we move towards the next question. That is question number 2. It is given that prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is a irrational. So let us again assume that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. So therefore it can be written in the form of a upon b, where a and b are co-primes. So then we write here 2 root 5 is equals to a upon b minus 3, root 5 is equals to half of a upon b minus 3. So we can see here that, so since in this RHS, this consists of integers a and b, so it means if it consists of integers, then it means it should be a rational number. So therefore root 5 is also a rational number because LHS is equals to RHS. So but this contradicts that root 5 is a rational number. Hence our assumption of 3 plus 2 root 5 is false or wrong. Therefore 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Then question number 3. Prove that 1 upon root 2 is a rational number. So 1 upon root 2 is a rational number. So let 1 upon root 2 be a rational number. So therefore we can write that 1 upon root 2 is equals to a upon b. So now we can see a root 2 is equals to b upon a. So b upon a is a rational number, a and b are integers. So we can see a root 2 is a rational, which contradicts the fact that root 2 is irrational. So our assumption is wrong, as we already know that root 2 is irrational. So therefore 1 upon root 2 is irrational. Then we have 7 root 5. So 7 root 5 is rational. If you assume that 7 root 5 is rational, then it can also be written in the form of a upon b, where a and b are co-primes. So we have root 5 is equals to a upon 7b. Now again, so we can see here this a upon 7b consists of integers, so it should be rational. Therefore root 5 is should be rational, but this again contradicts the fact that root 5 is irrational. So therefore our assumption is wrong, that is 7 root 5 is rational, is false. So therefore 7 root 5 is irrational. Then we have 6 plus root 2. So let 6 plus root 2 be rational. So therefore we can find two co-prime numbers a and b. So such that we can write 6 plus root 2 is equals to a upon b. So root 2 is equals to a upon b minus 6. So therefore it means it is rational. Hence root 2 shall be a rational. So this contradicts the fact that root 2 is rational. Therefore our assumption is false or wrong, and hence 6 plus root 2 is rational. So then we have the exercise 1.4, the last exercise. So with the first question is, without actually performing the long division, state whether the following rational numbers will have a terminating decimal expansion or a non-terminating repeating decimal expansion. So we can see the first part, that is 13 over 3125. So 3125 can be written as 5 raised to power 5. So we have the denominator is of the form 5 raised to power m. So it means the decimal expansion is terminating because this of the power 5 raised to power m. Then we have 17 upon 8. So here the denominator is 8, which can be written as 2 raised to power 3. So this is of the form 2 raised to power m. So again it is terminating. Then we have 64 over 455. So 455 factors are 4 into 7 to 13. Now it is not of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power m. So it means it is non-terminating repeating. Then we have the fourth part, it is 15 over 1600. 1600 means 2 raised to power 6 into 5 square. So that means it is a terminating because this is of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power n. Then we have 29 over 343. 343, the factors is 7 to 7 to 7, that is 7 cube. So it means this is not of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power n. So it means it is again non-terminating repeating. Then 23 over 2 raised to power 3 into 5 raised to power 2. So again this is of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power n. So this is terminating. Then 129 upon 2 raised to power 2, 5 raised to power 7, 7 raised to power 5. So this is not of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power n. So this is again non-terminating repeating. Then we have 6 over 15, so 6 over 15 2 upon 5, so again 5 is there, so it means it is a terminating. Then we have 35 over 50, that is 7 upon 10, so this is of the form 2 raised to power m into 5 raised to power n, so again this is terminating. Then we have 77 upon 210, on simplify is 11 upon 30, 30 means 2 into 3 into 5, which means this is not of the form 2 raised to power m to 5 raised to power m, so it is non-terminating, repeating. Then in the question number 2, right now the decimal expansion, those numbers questions 1 above which have terminating decimal expansions. So if we see here which have, so 13 over 3125, so as we know, so on solving this, so this answer is coming as 0.00416. Then we have 17 upon 8, on dividing this is 2.125. so what we are basically doing, we are just converting this denominator in the form of exponential form of 10, just 10 raised to power 1, 10 raised to power 2, 10 raised to power 3, so it's easy for us to convert it into the decimals. So likewise 64 over 455, so this is, we can see here this is 26565, so we multiply 5 raised to power 5, so that we have both the degrees same, so it means it is 10 raised to power 6, and multiplying the numerator, so this is 0.009375. so likewise 29 upon 343, so we can see here on solving the, converting this again as a denominator as exponential form of 10, so this is coming as 0.115. Then likewise in the seventh part also 129 upon 2 raised to power 2 into 5 raised to power 7 into 7 raised to power 5, so this is a non-terminating, repeating. Then we have 6 raised to power 15, so this is 6 upon 15, that is 2 so this is 15, so 5 into 2 10 we have to make it, so on simplifying this is coming as, yes, 2 upon 5, so multiply by 2, so this becomes 10, and this becomes 4, 4 upon 10 is 0.4. Then 35 for 50, 50 multiply by 2, that becomes 100, or if we simplify this, this is this 7 upon 10, so likewise we multiply by 5 to make it a to make it a 10, so this is coming 0.7. Then 77 of 210 is not repeating. The following real numbers have decimal expansion given below. In each of the cases, decide whether they are rational or irrational or not. If they are rational, then of the form p upon q, if you say about the prime factors of q. So we can see here in the first part, so it is given the terminating, so this terminating decimal expansion is a rational number. This one is the decimal is neither terminating nor recurring, therefore it is given as irrational number. And the third one, if you see here bar means the this is going to be repeat again and again, so this is a non-terminating but repeating, so this is a rational number. So first is a rational number, then second is irrational number, and third is a rational number. Okay, so with this we come to the end of this all the exercises of the chapter. So thank you very much.